Welcome to today's journey through one of the greatest stories in human history, the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. From a small village on the banks of the Tiber River, Rome grew into a superpower that shaped the destiny of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. But like all great powers, Rome's glory eventually faded. In this video, we'll explore how it all began, how it reached its height, and why it collapsed. Rome's story begins in the 8th century BCE. According to legend, Rome was founded by Romulus and Remus in 753 BCE. When we think of ancient Rome, we often imagine a city of destiny, a republic born from justice, warriors conquering Italy with ease, and Hannibal leading an army of elephants across the Alps. But history is rarely that simple. Behind Rome's glorious legends lie myths, exaggerations, and propaganda. Today, we uncover the myths of the Republic, the conquest of Italy, the Punic Wars, and Hannibal's elephants. The year is 509 BCE. According to legend, the Roman people rose in fury after the tragic fate of Lucretia, a noblewoman wronged by the last king of Rome. Her death sparked rebellion, and Rome was instantly reborn as a republic. It makes for a powerful story, but the truth is far less neat. The transition from monarchy to republic was not a single dramatic event. It was a messy, drawn-out struggle among Rome's elites. And what about Lucius Junius Brutus, the so-called heroic founder? Roman writers painted him as a noble savior who even executed his own sons for betraying the Republic. But many historians believe this is myth-making, Rome's way of creating its own founding father. Even the Republic's famous system of checks and balances, consuls, senate, assemblies, was not perfected overnight. It evolved slowly over centuries. But Romans loved to believe their republic had been born complete from a single moment of righteous rebellion. Rome's conquest of Italy is often told as a tale of inevitability, a rising republic destined to dominate its neighbors. But was it really destiny, or luck mixed with relentless ambition? Roman sources claim their wars were always defensive, what they called just wars. In reality, Rome often struck first, using religion and law to justify expansion. And their enemies, like the Samnites, were far from the primitive hill tribes Rome described. Archaeology reveals thriving towns, rich cultures, and armies that often outmaneuvered Rome. In fact, at the Battle of the Caudine Forks, the mighty Roman legions were humiliated, forced to surrender without a fight, crawling under a yoke in disgrace. Rome's conquest was never guaranteed. Time and again, the Republic teetered on the edge of collapse. But the Romans later rewrote their history, making it seem as though their victory over Italy was always fated. Then came the epic clash with Carthage, the Punic Wars. Roman historians loved to frame it as a struggle of opposites, noble Rome against greedy, decadent Carthage. But Carthage was no weakling. It was a wealthy, disciplined, and technologically advanced power, with naval strength that initially dwarfed Rome's. We often hear of Cato the Elder ending every speech with, "Carthage must be destroyed." It's true, but it wasn't the universal Roman belief. Many senators preferred a living Carthage, paying tribute and enriching Rome. And what of Scipio Africanus, the general who finally defeated Hannibal? Later tradition raised him almost to divine status, as though he alone brought Rome victory. But Scipio's success owed just as much to diplomacy, alliances in Spain and Africa, and Carthaginian missteps, as it did to his battlefield genius. The legend of a flawless savior was another Roman invention. And then there is the most famous myth of all, Hannibal and his elephants. According to popular imagination, he led hundreds of massive war elephants across the Alps, crushing the mountains beneath their feet. The truth? Ancient sources suggest only about 30 to 40 elephants made the journey, and most died soon after. The idea that elephants won Hannibal's battles is also exaggerated. At Cannae, his greatest victory, it wasn't elephants at all, but his brilliant tactics that annihilated a Roman army of 80,000 men. Not all elephants perished in the mountains, though. One survived for years, Hannibal's favorite, a massive beast named Surus, possibly Syrian, not African. Surus carried Hannibal himself, towering above the battlefield like a symbol of defiance. And was the crossing truly impossible? Ancient writers describe it as a miracle, but modern historians have shown that, while brutal, it was achievable with careful planning, choosing the right pass, perhaps the Col de la Traversette. Hannibal's achievement was extraordinary, but not supernatural. By the 1st century BCE, Rome dominated the Mediterranean, but expansion brought problems. Julius Caesar rose to power, sparking civil war. His assassination in 44 BCE paved the way for Augustus, Rome's first emperor. Under Augustus, the empire entered the Pax Romana, 2 centuries of peace, wealth, and monumental construction. At its height under Trajan, Rome stretched from Britain to Mesopotamia. But no empire lasts forever. Rome faced political instability, economic troubles, and external threats. Emperors rose and fell quickly. Heavy taxes crushed citizens. The army was stretched thin, defending borders from Germanic tribes and Persians. In 410 CE, the Visigoths sacked Rome, shocking the ancient world. By 476 CE, the Western Roman Empire had fallen. Though the empire fell, its legacy remains. Roman law shaped modern legal systems. Latin gave birth to today's European languages. Roman architecture still inspires our cities. Even the U.S. government borrowed ideas from the Roman Republic. Rome's story is a reminder. Empires may fall, but ideas endure. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more history deep dives. History isn't just about the past, it's about understanding how we got here and where we might be going.